Here we are, folks. Terry V. Salyer back with Mountain Association. We're talking to the Handicap Manor books and bikes and books and all that kind of good stuff. You can get it all here. We're talking to Miss Deidre Handicap right now, and Deidre is into the publishing scene. And I noticed in talking to you, Deidre, about your publishing company and things, and even in consulting, a lot of times you talk to people about editing product or whatever, or having somebody else look at it, and how important is editing, and how can that lead into other things, like I know you and I have discussed about characterization is a big thing as well. So if you would share your thoughts on there, because everybody I've talked to says you're a wonderful editor.
Yes, editing is a big part of the book creation process, and I believe at this point the most editing that I've been requested to do has been like developmental editing. There's a big difference between basic edits, which is looking for spelling and grammar, and developmental editing, which can cover the process of helping create empathy between characters and between the reader and the characters. We fall into story development. People get uncomfortable at this phase because sometimes they love their character,
Okay.
but their character isn't lovable. That's the hard part, because you want to create a realistic, believable character, someone that will either be loved or hated depending on the part of the story that they play.
Now, I know there's been a lot of things recently, books and series and stuff like that. Particularly, everyone knows about Harry Potter and how those characters are so important, of carrying over from one book to the next, and or to see them age and their characterization and stuff. So are you doing anything on series of books? I know one time you and I talked about one book is leading into another, and that way share a little bit about that, the process that you've done with those.
Yes, as a matter of fact, my Louise Green series, I'm notorious for killing my darlings. I wanted it to mirror real life, where people age and they will die. And just like in Harry Potter, when Dumbledore died, that was very controversial because people loved that character.
Yes.
But the truth is, in real life, people don't live forever. And I try to write that into my character so you can see them age, you can see their maturity level change, and unfortunately, you will see some of them die. And I've got some backlash on a few of the ones that I've killed. So, but
So the audience are trying to guess what's going to happen next a lot of times.
Yeah, and I have people beg me, please don't kill this character, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, whether they're murdered in my murder mystery series or they die a natural death. Unfortunately, death does come.
I know myself, being a live theatrical type person, I've produced and directed a lot of shows. I'll have to read a script around 9 times. And everybody said, well, why in the world are you reading that, Terry? Well, the first time, to see if the plots and things are good. The second time, I start that introduction to characters, and then I see them by the third time actually moving on stage where I can get my blocking. And then for a fifth time, you see how it all mingles together. You look at the whole picture and what the subplots and all that are. So I know that I read scripts a lot in order to get that visualization in my mind. How does that do with writing and stuff? I mean, does a writer want the reader to have a particular, I don't know, is it passion or something about a character, or empathy, or how do those play into that, would you say, when in your writing?
I think it's really important for us to create those characters that people can relate to, and it pulls them more into the story because they see parts of themselves in that character. And that also makes the editing harder because sometimes we've written something we love and we don't necessarily want to purge it. But unfortunately, books, just like movie and TV shows, we have a page limit, a word limit.
Yeah.
So we have to cut the fluff, as they say.
I got you. Well, that helps you a little bit about editing. The next episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about distribution of how you can get published. You got an idea book, is something you put down there. So stay tuned to our next segment here, and we'll be talking with Deidre about publishing your book, manuscript, whatever out there. Here we are, episode 2 here, Handicap Manor Bikes and Books. We got Onus Handicap right here. We're talking to him. In the first episode in the segment there, you saw him explain a little bit about how he got into cycling, biking, outdoor type sports and things as he was a young person working with his dad and whitewater rafting and all that kind of deal. That was great to know a little bit about Onus's background, what he's done. In our second segment here, we're going to talk a little bit about Handicap Manor Bikes and Books and how it come about and how in the world it got here in Garrett, Kentucky. So Onus, you know, with all the professionalism and the certification that you had up there that you gained,
Yep.
how in the world did you get the concept of doing that here in Garrett, Kentucky? How did it come about?
Well, the name Handicap Manor, when the wife and I got married in 2019.
Now you got to remember that now, you know that.
Yeah, I know. September 14th.
There you go.
As a wedding gift, one of my ushers in the wedding created a live edge board that says Handicap Manor on it.
Wow.
I mean, we live in a small trailer, but it was named Handicap Manor for us.
Yeah.
And then that's where the name came from.
Okay.
Then through COVID, when COVID started, I lost my job. Which
a lot of people did.
A lot of people lost their job.
Yeah.
And at the time, my wife was pregnant. She's disabled. We found out we were going to have a baby. And it was one of those things, we sat down one night and decided, what can we do so I can stay here at the house to help my wife and make a little bit of money here on the side.
Sure.
So I've been a certified bike mechanic since '92.
Yeah.
So I had all my tools here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? What if we start a bicycle shop?
Wow.
I'll do the bike side. She's an author. So let's throw it together. Handicap Manor Bikes and Books.
Yeah.
We started the bike shop as a whimsical type of thing in our carport here. I didn't have much of a setup. I had a small repair stand.
Right.
I bought a little tiny cheap air compressor. I had my bike stand, which is almost 60 years old. This thing's traveled with me wherever I've gone. And it was just one of them things we started. We advertised and we had some inventory caught up. And we're getting ready to really get things going. We just posted on Facebook. And I had a gentleman hit us up one night. Can you work on my bike? I'm like, sure, bring it by. We'll see what you need. And that gentleman happened to be from Texas. He was here during the remodel and the rebuilding of Martin.
Yeah.
He was the one that was he had the contract to lay all new water lines in Martin. He brought his bike with him and he messed it up riding the local trails. And here I was, some little oddball bike shop. Hadn't had a customer yet, set up here to do bicycle repairs. And here we are. He was my first customer. In the time that he's been here, oh, by the way, hi, Charlie. Charlie, that's my first guy.
Okay.
Didn't make a lot of money off Charlie, but he was my initial
good customer
here.
Yeah.
He hasn't been around for 3 or 4 years, but we still talk on Facebook.
Yeah.
Still good friends. But yeah, so we started it. The following spring, the government was throwing money at everybody. Just throwing money out there. Anybody who'd lost their job was getting money. A lot of people spent that money on guns, TVs, things like that. My wife and I put the money aside and we built a 10 by 10 shop to house Handicap Manor Bikes and Books. It has since gotten cram-packed full of tools, cram-packed full of stuff, and her books are no longer in there, but we have her books in the house. So if anybody stops by and wants to buy one of her books, we have them here.
That's great.
You can also go online and get them, but
yeah.
I'm the bike guy.
Yeah.
I'm a mechanic. I like to turn a wrench. And I'm not just here to fix your bike. If you want to talk bikes, come hang out. That's
Well,
why
that's
we got
cool.
this new carport.
That's great.
Come hang out and talk bikes.
Yeah. Well, do you see a need for that here locally in Garrett? Are there anything going on out there?
Here in Garrett, yeah, there's a need for it here in Garrett. A lot of the bikes that I service are your big box store bikes. So, yeah, there's a need for that.
Okay, great. Well, that's the second segment here. We're talking about with Onus Handicap here, Handicap Manor Bikes and Books, and we're so privileged to be able to get a little insight. And that's what we're going to talk about in episode 3, maybe a little bit more about bikes and things. So you stay tuned with us.